the top of the national polls. He's neck and neck with Mitt Romney in Iowa, and the caucus there is held. It will be held tomorrow. Please welcome Mike Huckabee, ladies and gentlemen.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Well, this is what I find fascinating about American politics. I mean, I kind of follow this kind of stuff, so I've known who you are for a while, but you literally, in the last couple of months, come from nowhere with hardly any money. Explain how this happened.
I'm just trying to keep from going back to nowhere as fast as I got here. I think a lot of it is, you know, people are looking for a presidential candidate who reminds them more of the guy they work with rather than the guy that laid them off.
Right.
And I think that's part of what is about. So.
Now tell us about your background. I know you're from Hope, Arkansas.
Yes, born and raised there.
And also, of course, President Clinton. Oh, did you guys know each other growing up?
We didn't know each other growing up. He's 9 years older, and he had moved away when he was like 7 years old and went to Hot Springs. But when he ran for president, somehow it just didn't sound right to say, I believe in a place called Hot Springs.
Yeah.
So he, you know, talked about his birthplace. And, you can understand that. We all understand that.
Now, your first career was as a Baptist minister.
Mm-hmm.
Baptist. How long did you do that?
About 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you become? How did you get into that sort of line of work?
Well, I mean, the honest and serious answer is that I just saw life at a perspective in the church that I think very few people get to see. You see every single social pathology that's out there. Mm-hmm. Nothing is abstract to you. You put a name and a face on everything. And I really began to believe that so many of the people making decisions that would affect the way we lived, the way our future would be governed, didn't have a clue about how people were really struggling. Yeah. It became evident to me that there were a lot of folks making decisions and they didn't understand poverty, hunger, disease. They didn't understand challenges that people had in their families. And for my own 3 children, who were small at the time, I decided, you know, I don't want to spend the rest of my life complaining about what they are doing. Right. And I finally thought, you know, it's time to get out of the stands and on the field and get my jersey dirty.
Now, you also played in a rock band.
Yes.
So this is like a TV series. Baptist minister during the day, playing Whitesnake at the Kit Kat Club at night. How does it, I mean, doesn't that seem like, I mean, with some of your congregation, I mean, that seems like sort of...
I never played with my teeth or anything like that, so I mean, it wasn't totally bad. I started playing guitar when I was 11 years old.
Okay.
I mean, I was like so many kids that came out of the 60s that wanted to play guitar more than anything.
Right.
And when I finally got a guitar, my parents got a guitar from J.C. Penney, ordered it from the catalog. I got it Christmas 1966. They paid $99 for the whole rig, guitar, amplifier. Right. It took them a year to pay it off. I mean, my parents, you know, barely made enough money to pay the rent. We lived in a little rent house. It was a big sacrifice for them, but I played that guitar till my fingers nearly bled, until their ears nearly bled. I mean, it was a, you know.
And they said, son, why don't you become a minister? Just lose the guitar.
Yeah, I think they were hoping for me to do anything, and obviously I wasn't good enough to make it as a professional, and so I had to find something else to do, and that looked like it was mostly under work and no heavy lifting. I thought it would be a pretty good
You think you could sit in, are you good enough to sit in with our band leader? Would you want to?
No, but I'd like to do it anyway.
You want to do it? All right.
Yeah.
I think you first got elected about the time I took over the show. What, 92?
92. Well, 93 was the first year. I ran in 92 and I lost an election.
Okay.
And then I ran in 93 for lieutenant governor and I won and re-elected in 94. Became governor from the position of lieutenant governor when my predecessor resigned, and then re-elected twice and served 10.5 years as governor.
Okay. Because when I first met you, you were living in a trailer in Arkansas.
My wife would want to tell you it was a manufactured home.
Yes. Now, why were you living in a trailer? Were you trying to put on airs and impress fellow constituents?
Yeah, you know, it was a triple wide, Jay. A lot of people only had a single wide trailer, but we had the triple wide. It was a pretty significant. Well, actually, what was going on? The governor's mansion was going under renovations, so there were a lot of things. You know, the wiring and all this stuff had to be redone. And so we had an option. We could go out and rent this very expensive place or find alternative housing arrangements, and we decided to move in a triple wide manufactured home on the grounds of the governor's mansion. We knew we were going to take a beating over it.
Oh, we had a million jokes about it. Thank you. You supported the monologue for weeks with that.
The big line was, they said, I'm sorry, I'm running late today. I was on the interstate and got behind the governor's mansion.
Right. Well, we actually interviewed. That was the first time I met you. Yeah. And you looked a lot different then. Here it is when we talked to him 7 years ago.
In fact, it's a triple wide. It's actually large enough we could get you and your chin in the whole thing.
Oh, people who live in glass houses. Wait a minute, hey, you said it yourself. We come back, I want to ask you about that triple wide jacket you had on there. Look, we'll take a break, Okay. More with Mike Huckabee right after this. Right.